Recording.
Yeah.
I could go live on
Whoa.
Amazing.
YouTube too.
Hello.
You can.
Yeah, do it. It's
Share
open.
it with the world.
That could
Okay.
be. Yeah, do it. It's no limitations.
Okay, so
Unless it's going to upset Noah to a degree.
well, she hasn't come. So okay, so how do I do this? Let's see. I want to go live. Hello, everybody. Okay. All right. So we're live.
Awesome.
Hello. Hello, Earth.
Interesting.
It's
Live
nice.
is after the fact.
Super. Ellie's making funny noises. Wants to participate. So.
Vera's belly is saying hi to the world.
Okay. Okay, so here we are, live and direct. And you are in sunny Sedona.
Sunny Sedona.
Mm-hmm.
Who's making fun?
The noises. That's a cactus. We're eating too much cactus.
Yeah.
It's true. All those things in the belly.
Yeah.
So
Here we are.
Well, okay, so we've started quite a few times actually. Introductions are not necessary for those who know themselves. They are experiencing this wonderful okay, why don't we start there, because that's like a science experiment, and learning in science is very wonderful.
So you presented the topic for the today Zoom, and we will love to listen from you. Introduce that topic for the rest of the people that doesn't know what it's a topic about, and from there we can start talking about and sharing about and downloading about and whatever, and playing with the topic.
And actually the experiment that we're in has to do with the topic already.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I had to turn the sound off on the live because it's like a Jamaican telephone call. You're hearing it after the fact.
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah, I just turned the sound off on the live so that I can actually be present to you and not hear us after the fact come in, and and it discombobulates me, you know. My mind is very simple, okay? So yes, I had introduced this topic, and one of the participants is not here, and it doesn't surprise me, as this is it seems that this is my path to go through, and it has to do with the existing structures of our social amoeba.
Yeah.
And that, for me, I had been in public school for many years. And before that, a filmmaker, actor. So I've had a couple of different, I actually went to Cirque Fratellini under the freeway in Paris. I was a clown when I was a young.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
And so school is obviously changed too. Woohoo!
Baby.
Oh my gosh. And the work that I had been doing since 2009 was to bring together the energy of the parents and their children so that they would not have to repeat these old stories that have been virtually handed down in the DNA in so many ways, you know, both culturally, historically, and then even just from the physical compounds, like the water molecules hold every memory. I mean, when we were studying dinosaurs, which I never actually totally believed, by the way, even though the first T-Rex was found in the place where I was born. So this idea that we control our energy, and that this spiritual communication, which is silent, is something very sacred between a parent and a child. Because the child chooses the parents. This is amazing to me. And so when we can become more conscious as a parent, we really truly can be that parent and allow our children to learn that interdependence, you know, going through the dependency stages of a little child, a baby, where it cannot care for itself and survive.
Yep.
So that was my whole goal when I was a teacher, after I had learned, oh, this is how we learn. This is how we learn. And so I met Noah 2 years ago. She was starting this school called the Peace Academy, and it's a beautiful foundation for learning. You know, the pillars are self-awareness, earth stewardship, self-responsibility, self-referral. And we had a meeting last weekend where the people who are in charge of the school, because there are people started it before I came on board, and they were so stuck in my judgment. And that's probably, you know, another thing that I have to work on. In my judgment, I felt like they only wanted to bring it forward if there was money.
Yeah. Yeah. We know that. That stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was as though, well, the money's already there. The energy of the people is the money. It's just, it's, our life is the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Show me the money. Well, it's right here. Turn it up, turn it on. In a way, because it's like, okay, and then when we're learning, well, what are we actually doing? It's like this shared inquiry process of the quest for absolutia. Everyone's bringing forward that which is most resonant for them at this moment in time. And no question, no comment, no exploration. If it harms you not and brings you joy, then it is your alignment, and so move forward. It's good, right?
Right. Yep.
And then what happened afterwards was so interesting. So after the conversation last weekend where they were planning, and I said, look, guys, we haven't had one word about love. We haven't had one word about joy. We haven't had one word about excitement and the adventure of learning. And we're all operating from this place of fear. Let's just kind of just pull back a little bit and ask our own questions and know that it's safe, that whatever we bring forward will show us our next step as a group. And it made them angry. And then they didn't even write up. They wrote everybody else's, and then my name was not even mentioned in the minutes.
That's good. That's good.
Uh-huh.
Now you're free to be in that fear-based project.
Well, you can choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They choose for her.
But it's really like, it's just dropping away, because apparently there's such a split in the energy behind it that it just had to drop away.
I see.
Because if they
Yeah.
keep operating from the fear-based place, then it's just not going to be joyful for you either. It's just not enough alignment apparently at the moment to make something
Yeah.
together.
And that's really, I mean, that's been our experience until we actually landed in like Salt Lake City after Colorado, after we flew into Colorado. Colorado was the last experience of one of those, what happens when you meet with someone who might share the same vision, but still carries a lot of doubt and fear patterns and is still very anchored in the old ways of doing things. And it doesn't matter if it's spiritually old ways or if it's earthly old ways. And we had the earthly old ways experience in Brazil, and now we had the spiritual old ways in Colorado. And that really made us realize it's not about pulling anyone up into a different frequency. When they're not ready, they're not ready. And they will always read anything you're saying. And when we're communicating now, we understand each other. We would probably even understand each other without much words. But when someone still has a filter in place, they will always read it through that filter, no matter what you say. And it's like ever since I started writing, it's been my experience that people made something completely different out of it from the way I actually brought it through. And truth can be like it can be so distorted by belief systems that are in place. And it seems like they all still believe very much in lack.
And through this also then comes the realization, oh, the vision might not actually be that similar at the moment, even though on the surface it looks like it. But when you go to the deeper layers, oh wait, the actual vision of that person looks completely different, because there's still some aspect of saving or fixing or something like that that doesn't really align with pure joy and love and excitement.
And when the money appears in the middle, and the scarcity and lack was one of my gene key shadows, that I don't have the tools to build that big vision that I was having. And I was all the time that I don't have tools and don't have toys, as much as it's inside this thing. And then you appear the money, is that you don't get how the universe works. The moment that you just follow your highest excitement, tools and toys and people are always there. You don't need to plan anything. And one of the things that's going on right now, I'm feeling a lot, I'm seeing a lot, it's how deeper it is the beautiful virus that breaks the codependencies. The old died hard. Means that the people more are planning how to go through in a harder way. I think it was today that Trump announced that he wants to do a big bang explosion of economy to compensate. But what's happening right now is that everybody who's planning, they just not notice yet that there is one of the 7 laws. If you go to the laws of absolutia, there is the 6 laws of the universe, and there is the 7 laws that it's not there because it's not there anymore in the new earth, but it's here in the old world inside the people, that it's the cause effect.
The causality.
The causality.
No, causality.
Causality.
Oh, it's one of the comprehension tools I never quite understood as a child. I'm sorry.
So,
oh my gosh, he looks like a teacher in Harry Potter school.
Yes.
It's like Hogwarts.
so it's so beautiful to see that we're gonna inject. I remember reading that the Fed saying unlimited money for the stocks, and instead of going high, going down. Trump saying 2.3 millions, and for a day or two it goes high and then down again. So everything that in the past people know that by experience it worked doesn't work anymore.
It's the end of the conditional. Cause and effect was creating all the conditions, the conditional realm, and we're going into the unconditional, so automatically cause and effect doesn't work anymore. And people will learn that in the next couple of years, that everything changed. So.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're off the record.
Yeah, just stopped itself, okay? The unconditional, stop the recording.
And
you can't quote me on that one.
Yeah. And it's an amazing tool. There is a simple game that we start playing in Amsterdam like a year ago, because I have a friend who everything at his home is programmed. So, and there is something in technology called if TTT. If TTT, that it means if this
then else. Mm-hmm. If then else. See Cobalt programming.
I took that.
Yeah.
And then I put it as observing myself, that every time that you are doing something with a specific outcome in your expectation, you are being conditional. So I started.
You're being IFTT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, and that's limiting, isn't it? Because then you only really have this so-called fork in the road choice, right? I see what you're saying.
And your ego also, it's a frustration, because your ego it's you want that, so you know the possibility what happened, and you are blocking all the rest of the possibilities and the rest of the stuff that it could happen. So you try to control your outcome, you try to control your path, you try to manipulate the outside, and that it's limiting. And then I realized how much I was doing all day to get love, aka attention, and to avoid pain all day. So by observing if this and that before starting any action, you can see that action is on the serve of the humanity, in the serving of humanity, or is a selfishness, one, to provide you with energy from the outside.
Oh my.
Simple like this, including when you start a project for the School of Peace, any project, anything that people does, you can go deep on the real why, the golden circle, the why, how, what. To go to the real why, it's go to the if this, then that. So why we are starting this thing with that intention. And fast forward, was carrying a lot of mission energy during most of these 18 years, most of the time, that to save the world, to save a place of comfort zone, to save the world where I wanted to live, because obviously it's scary, the new unknown world, because nobody knows how it is. So that's scary for the body.
Yeah. So this is one of, I mean, that's the basis for everything. And for any teaching, for any, like, it's not even teaching anymore, it's actually experiencing. And teacher and student are always both in the new. And it's no longer, so for me, the most important element from the beginning is growing up with the idea of the unconditional instead of learning if this then that. And that's what we've all been learning in our journey. When we grew up, our parents did everything conditionally because they didn't know any better. And we are the first generation, which is not age-based, it's us as the ones that have awakened to this truth, to pass it on and to show people how you can live unconditionally.
Yeah. So the biggest shift actually for the student that I see is to go from a state of you are being taught that so you can become this, from a state of indoctrination to a state of exploration, like freely opening to the fields that excite you the most, and all kinds of stuff can happen from there.
And that's the truth. And there it is, you see, and that's absolutely it. And so that's where, I mean, it is true, it's true life.
Yeah.
And there is no control.
Well, it's actually total control because there is none at all.
Yeah.
It's total faith. It's total, it's absolutia faith.
I'm gonna go to the beginning of when you are jumping and screaming of happiness, because now, so everybody, not everybody, a lot of people in the awakening and in the spiritual world was, we need to create a new system, a new school system, a new education system. Okay. Now everybody's at home, and maybe they will never come back to the schools. So that's a great opportunity, because at least when people are at home, the kids are at home, the strong programming of the traditional school, it's less strong, and the parents can do more of their part of the education. So I always say that education is at home and for formation is at the schools. That are two different fields. And now both are happening at home. So this beautiful opportunity also brings one thing. The whole educational system, actually, no matter what, it's a closed frame, including all the experiments, Montessori, whatever. It's a funnel that breaks to the point that you has to be useful inside the machine that is the Industrial Revolution that we are still doing. Everything is a codependency machine to produce. So all the schools and systems that we observe until today, in as much as they are inside of a political educational frame, always the final point is that kid needs to be able to go to the university and have a career in the old system. None of them are designed that for the kid discover the essence and the kid would be whatever they want to be. Because then the system, if suddenly people want to be a painter or want to be I don't know, a gold miner or whatever that the kid whatever want to be, then you don't have enough people to keep running the machine of the old system. And I remember a conversation that I have with the chief of the university in Spain, that he told me, Agustí, what are you talking about? Here it's BASF, the chemical company, who comes to us every year and tells us which kind of graduates they need to operate that factory. So we move all the curriculum to exactly produce what the companies need. So a beautiful new system is when there is nobody outside expecting machines, like it was a production, humans as pieces of this new system, when there is nobody and everybody can go freely and play as get themselves as a butterfly.
Yeah, it's actually the other way around, in the trust that every child carries the perfect puzzle piece, and to bring it out, this shapes the way in total how the society will look like. And really like on a personal level, I can say that when you break it down to the person, my parents were actually really be a free thinker, do what you love, but as soon as it gets to the level of, oh, okay, maybe she might not have a career and no proper income and stuff like that, then the fear level in the personal story gets so high that it's like backpedaling. And to really go all the way, like from the company side, not the control from the outside anymore, from the personal side, to really empower the child to do whatever in the trust that this is the perfect path. That's really the empowerment.
And that's it. And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So the earth container can be as she is designed to be.
Yeah.
This infinite mother of imagination, creativity, innovation, balance, true safety.
Yeah.
True safety and
Co-creation.
yes.
Co-creation.
Yes, and such beauty. Oh wow, such beauty.
I'm seeing, while you are now, it came a clear vision for me that schools, it's not anymore a building where I start teaching about the outside of experience of that building. It's more a kind of
Playground.
For me, it's a accompaniment to explore life.
Yes.
If you imagine that you have a town, a school is more like somebody or some mentors or facilitators or guides that work with the kids. And when the kid arrives to the bakery, and the kid wants to touch the floor and the dough and play, and why you are putting that inside the fire, and that there is somebody start playing with that from that point of view and exploring. So the kids just are exploring the wall, and they have somebody with them that maybe it's going to be something telepathic, or maybe it's going to be just glasses, and there is somebody in another place. I don't know how it's going to be. Or maybe it's going to be the baker man explaining that. You don't need somebody specific that knows everything. And I remember a case before coming here. We visit a friend of us in Spain, who she decided that their kids never going to go to school, and they built a school 15 years ago for 15 kids, where the school was a wine cellar.
Mm-hmm.
So her father, that is now 86 or something like this, was doing wine with the kids, natural wine. So the kids learn mathematics, physics, periodic table,
Chemistry, you name it.
everything by doing wine. And it was fantastic because they were able to drink later their knowledge. So they experience.
Lots of drunk kids.
That's right, that's in the US.
So it was really like,
Hey, listen, you know something? That's actually a natural state of a child, okay? It's very high.
it was so beautiful when they told me that then they did an excursion to the central market in the town, and they learned to do
Addition
by counting fishes. And then they learn about weights, because they were, okay, 6 sardines are that weight, okay? And it's different that the 6 cots, they have a different weight. And everything was playing by observing, just walking in the real life. And if somebody wants to master nuclear energy, the kid is gonna feel that, and the only thing that the kid needs, it's arrive to the knowledge of that whoever has the nuclear or fission energy. And if somebody wants to be a fisherman, or wants to be a painter, or wants to be a soccer player, it's gonna build it. And that can't happen inside a closed building.
Well, you've basically, that's right. It cannot, and it cannot, because here's the other fear that has kept us down for so long, right? You are God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that fear that, oh, well, if I share this knowledge, this deep knowledge, whether it's spiritual, whether it's science, whether it's mathematics, whether it's gardening and farming, family love, all of it, expression, whatever, right? If I actually share the true knowledge that humanity has amassed, I can only be humble. I can't, it's like, so we've just, the system that it refused itself.
Absolutely.
It created the conditions for itself to be left behind.
Yeah. And at some point self-destruct.
Right.
Which is happening basically now, the first signs of it.
There is something in the movies in the United States really fun, that it's the day that the father goes to the school and explains their professions.
Yeah.
In a lot of movies. And in some movies, there is also the other way around, that there is the kid that goes and visits for a day the job of the father. And it came to me right now that how disturbing could be for the society if suddenly all the kids, instead of being in the school, they are just wandering around New York with the parents going to work. And how beautiful could be the kids saying, hey, Dad, what you are trading with the food for future stocks of food? There is people that is going to starving. So the kids, rational, that it's pure from the heart, start questioning the job of the parents. So imagine that the kids, that in the past it was more or less like this. So the kids were with the parents all the time, and they were learning the same profession. And if your parent was a I don't know, a baker, you were being that. So questioning the irrationality of more of the jobs. So it could be nice that the next thing that Trump will say is, hey, parents, you have to take your kids with you at work, and they're going to be there with you. And if they ask something to you, you have to answer them.
You have to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That could be a beautiful transition phase.
Really beautiful. Really beautiful. And it's the truth. I mean, and this is the school that I've been creating for 20 years. And honestly, that communication device, I mean, you called it telepathy. I mean, everything has it.
Yeah.
Every living thing has this intelligence, this, whatever it's defined as, I don't know, life, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? And everything has it. And so, like, as parents, we have such an insight because we've already been a child. And truthfully, okay, so what our greatest fears might be are right there before our eyes when we're looking at our children, because that's the vulnerability that we've forgotten or tried to hide and mask and, you know, intellectualize. Okay, I've got all these degrees, right? Because I have to prove that I'm smart enough to have something to share with others. But I had to prove it, right? And even with all those pieces of paper, it's like the scarecrow in Wizard of Oz, right? It's like, if I only had a brain.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like being the rainbow bridges to help people traverse these transition times. That's where I'd like to investigate, and what collaborative contributions we might.
What I feel is very important in this transition phase is the deconditioning of the parents. So understanding first that they have been conditioned with a lot of belief systems that are just naturally passed on as taken for granted to the next generation. And I mean, like I know how powerful it is. When I still worked as a coach, I did a lot of inner child work with people, and going back to their own programming that they received from their parents to uncondition the belief system. So you can be free to really like be that space holder for your child and not indoctrinate with anything that you took for granted. So I feel it's like these two things we need to take into account. One thing is offering a space for kids to just grow up as the free spirit they were meant to be in the first place. And at the same time, it's working with the parents to see more where they have been limiting themselves. And I don't feel the time was ready for that before, but now that the system is actually crumbling, people will start looking first within themselves, but they're also going to start look for new ways.
And actually, I think that for me, the vision of a new kind of school is really like a massive playground that has nothing to do with age restriction. So really, at any point of your life, you can go there. So it's also a space where the parents can be held and can explore. And what Augusti said is really beautiful, to walk around and to explore the world how it is. But then it's also, I see a playground like a place where you can bring all this knowledge and then go beyond that. So for example, when you were at the baker's place and you saw, oh, these machines are really antique, why does he do it like this? And then you want to start to explore and maybe build a different kind of oven or something. Yeah. There you have the tools and the space to do it and the support.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, it's a kind of crazy laboratory.
Yeah.
Of why not.
Yeah.
So why is still in that way and not with, because kids have this magic inside. And the kid is, why you're still putting the bread inside the oven? We can do it in that magical way and grow it and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's necessary that. And one thing that happens right now when the first thing that come to me is what I don't have anything to say about the new schools built in the old way, because that's creating bubbles on the path to the gate. That's creating like a roundabouts. So what we probably can do a lot, or what I feel that it's possible, is to assist the kids to get the less interference possible on their growth from the system, and parents to get the most unlearning, deconstructing beliefs. But you can't. What I don't feel that it's possible is to create schools on the path to the gate. You can prototype the schools after the gate, because it's like in a video game that is, you have the screen and the wall, it's pushing you. So if you want to build something here, it's to still have in the old way, or because it's what you know from the mind, and then it's when it's the money plays and you want to live in a comfort zone that you have.
Well, that's what the Peace Academy is trying to do.
Yeah.
And it was our experience with that you cannot mix dimensions. You need a sort of adapter in between.
Interface.
But if you try to build anything that, even if you saw it in spiritual visions or you felt it, but you try to implement it in the old world, it will go back to the old dynamics always.
And perhaps even be worse. It's and we've had many examples of that in our history, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And we don't need another hero, as it were. We need everybody to step up to their own hero and just be happy in that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's possible to experiment more. So I feel that people like the Brazilian guy, from
Ricardo
Semler with the Lumia schools, he's doing a gigantic job. And then when he goes to the Brazilian government with his project with a completely in the old terms successful way, the government say, I don't want that, neither for free, because the system is that doesn't.
It's not interested.
It's not interested in empowered kids, exactly. So, and I will love to know. I don't know anything, but I would love to research on what's happening right now with Lumia schools that probably are closed right now in Brazil, or the one in Netherlands, and how the Lumia schools is probably one of the most prepared systems to do the paradigm shift to the next. So it's easier to shift because the essence it's already really high. So probably his vision is really from the new earth, but he built it as much the most beautiful caterpillar possible, but not a butterfly yet. And I would love to meet
Well,
Ricardo.
it's also he just did the next step as much as it was possible at
Exactly.
this time, and everything he did seems really valuable to me.
It is.
And still there's also the fact that all the kids that are in school right now, they are already bombarded with beliefs, and that's already in their structure, and all the parents that are alive right now also. So it's like of course not building the new in the old, but something like a kind of decompression chamber.
Yeah.
So where really everyone is supported to step up to their true power.
The space
to
holding.
then be able to really play.
Yeah. It's what's necessary is that this compression chamber, because going through one dimension to another dimension, you need a space holding with people and really avoidment that allows that to do that. And right now, that is
The
missing.
quantum flurp.
The quantum flurp.
We call it the quantum flurp.
Woohoo!
That's
It
necessary.
has a little bit of the framboise flavor to it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, that's what's necessary. Including if you take a 10 years old kid right now, it doesn't matter if it's from California or from Portugal. You take a kid right now and you put it to the new system,
They will be either in depression or in rage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's just what do you do with this freedom when you don't know your own power and when you don't know how to be free?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually what happened in the meeting too. They went angry.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about all this joy and freedom and happiness, and they just
They're
can't
like,
understand that.
Fuck you, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're totally delusionally.
Yeah.
That's not how the world works.
It's the thing. It's you say forget about the money, and they forget you. So it's like it's really, if you give today, and that's the reason because today people it's not receiving magic yet. If you give magic to the people with ego and not dissolving the identity and the pain body that Eckhart will say, then you use that.
Well, all I'm doing is committing a sin, because it's a sin to teach full wisdom. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it. And so there like you said, it's the IFTT programming system has been relieved of its duties.
Yeah.
We should find an IFTT that it's going to be like I'm freely flow freedom, something like this, or I don't know. We should recode that words, that same line code.
Yeah.
It creates a different
TTWK. If this, then who knows?
I like it. Who knows?
If this, then nothing.
That's what the magician does. So the magicians put a rabbit inside the hat, and then it appears roses. You know, that's what people love from the magicians. Everything is unexpected. They put the swords in the cage with the lady inside, and then there is no blood. That's when the result, it's always unexpected. That's what creates the phase of surprise in people, and that's what people love magic.
Yeah. But one thing is when you're just saying it's possible. The other thing is when they actually see it. That's when their mouth drops.
Yeah.
So you can tell them, hey, and this is what it's all about, and it's love and joy and harmony, and the money is already there because it's you. They will just look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Not pioneers.
But when they see it happening actually in a project, and that's what we realize, the most important thing we do is inspire. by showing this is how you can live in a different way. This is how a new world can look like. That's what's needed, so that people start believing it's possible.
So today that it's Easter, what I'm feeling in you, it's the energy of the disciples that saw the miracles in Jesus. So you experience that miracle, that the money is there when it's necessary, and then you are saying that to the people. And in the old world, that miracles were so incredible that people were like, oh, and they followed that thing because it was so beautiful. But nowadays, people only trust what they are able to experience by themselves. So nowadays, if there is a disciples without a leader, really empowered people of the new truth, they just need to sit. They just need to live this new life. They just need to practice this new life and be these lighthouses. And then that high frequency attracts the people that exactly as in their wavelengths start to grasping that frequency. That's the reason, because it's not necessary to neither to teach truth, neither to sell truth, neither to go do marketing with the truth. Because it's a wavelength that you are there with your lighthouse, and then people start grasping a little bit with the top of their wavelengths. They start grasping a little bit of the lower of your wavelengths, and that in that points in this communal experience, it's where that is what inspires people.
Okay.
Or I feel that it's
at least our experience. So we had a lot of experience with just planting seeds and then being very patient that this takes a while until you can see a little offspring somewhere, a sprout coming out.
I was really pissed off when a dear friend dear beloved one in Miami, after I communicate that we are leaving Brazil and at the end nothing grounded there, she told me, that's not true, Steve. You at least plant seeds. But I was like, no, I'm done with planting seeds. I just want flowers and fruits and trees. I'm done with planting seeds. And this week, two people from two different projects in Brazil, they texted us that they are together in community talking about Fast Forward. That was so necessary and so inspiring. So this spring brought us sprouts. And this divine thing that the God have that is called seasons, and the patience to go through the seasons, embody it. It's difficult. It's the most difficult thing, because it's really forgetting time. Because we are so impatient. In humanity now, we have tomatoes all year, and because we want to control nature and we want to control when the sprouts and do it faster, and putting in the greenhouses to do it faster. Nobody is able to just sit and let the seasons do their miracles. And it's a miracle when you see a sprout there.
You know something, Augusti, you just gave me the most beautiful gift. I have to tell you, you just gave me the most beautiful gift. I'm not kidding. You just, I seriously, I just opened up to loving myself, because in every season I am so different. I'm like, it's just, and I have not been able to reconcile that vast change that I go through constantly, even from morning till night. Thank you. Wow.
Amazing.
That's awesome. That's really special. Thank you.
Probably it's because I love wine, and wine needs seasons, and wine is the capture of the seasons. It's really, you can drink the seasons there in every grape, and the alchemy between all the elements. And here, one of the things that we realize, why we are forced to be in nature all day, and inside the buildings, now that I'm seeing the walls around you, we are completely disconnected through the natural flow that is already in nature working. In cities, in civilization, we are completely, it's designed to be disconnected with the natural flow. One of the people here camped with us, that right now we are 7 people already and 2 dogs. told us, we're going to be here just some weeks, 3-4 weeks, couple of weeks, and then we're going to go back to civilization, right? And I was like, no way. So we're going to not go back, we're going to go further to a new civilization. And the first, I was receiving the first downloads of a new type of home that it's more beautiful than everything I ever imagined. That by the way, don't have toilet, neither kitchen, neither closets. But one thing that has, it's a big open dome, like an iris. So in the nights that it's not cold, you are sleeping with seeing the whole night sky, and everything it's light inside, and it's you are absolutely going through the seasons, and the house, it's a live organism going with you with the seasons.
Oh my gosh. See, that was the one beautiful thing, because last summer we worked with the architectural students at Cal Poly, and they designed a campus, and it's just that you can't tell where nature is and where the class, it's all, that's how we designed the Peace Academy. And there's like a little spring running through, and all the natural trees, and obviously, I mean, all of nature, like all last summer when we did our summer school, it was completely outdoors.
I want send me things. I want to read and know
Yes,
what they are
please.
doing, please.
I also want to see it.
Because you have a puzzle piece too. So I have one part of the download, and you have this part, and everybody has the piece.
And so, yes, I mean, and so what's, oh, wow, okay. Like, no going forward, no going backward. It's fine. We are safe. It's fine.
What's safe?
It's safe to be alive.
Yeah.
It's safe to be alive.
That's
Okay. That's what safe is. It's safe to be alive. That's really beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Like just the, yeah. Because truly, honestly, we don't know shit from Shinola.
Oh my gosh, Lee, you're amazing.
Oh gosh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm just so grateful. Really, just wow.
Thank you. See, now we have one more reason to go to California.
Yeah. So this morning, it was two things happening. One, that we want to do more lives to share more what is going on here, and and make more less separation between the platform and that amazingness that is happening here in the Freedom Village.
Yes.
And you provoke it, so nobody asked, and you already had the feeling to connect. And second is that there is a feeling inside that we're not going to stay here in summer, that probably on the solstice, something like this, we got the next station that we are feeling, there is an element that it's not here, that it's water. And the next spiritual place that there is water and we are feeling, and there is 3 people coming in this morning with, it's Shasta. So we don't care about how are the roads right now. We don't care, but looks like in June we're gonna cross California and go to Shasta, and we're gonna move the campament there, and including the locals from Sedona that are preferring to sleep in a tent to be in the village instead to sleeping in a place with a roof. They just want to come with all the tribe there to Shasta. So it looks like this virtualization could happen in the next season, or just before on the tipping point for the next season.
Yeah. Oh, that was another gift you gave me, because we can't have a bacchanal all the time, because then we wouldn't wake up in the morning. So I will wait for the bacchanal and the music will come. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.
Love you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
connecting, Lee. It was such a pleasure to feel you.
Feel free to download
share.
to share that in YouTube, in Facebook, in whatever. We can share this call in the Facebook of FF Movement to wherever it's necessary, whatever you feel.
Wonderful.
It's
Woohoo!
full time.
Hey,
Thank you for
Thank
catalyzing
you.
woman.
You're welcome.
Thank
Ciao.
you. Bye.
Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.